Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class, and we'll try to do attentive japa. Thank you for your association. Today we're talking about the Pandavas who will retire. Last week when Arjuna came back from Dwarka, he informed that Lord Krishna has left, and also the Yadu dynasty is also finished, and the Pandavas, they were very upset. And now this week we're talking about them retiring from their royal duties. So we'll make a start. And Arjuna was, he was so overwhelmed by remembering Krishna's well wishes, and he felt extreme pain in separation of the Lord. And then we sort of take it from there. Let's do a quick prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Nagite Krim Yat Kirpatamam Bande Shri Guru Din Taranam Pramanand Matavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tassat. Narayan Namskrita Naram Jaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Uttirayat Nasta Presho Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Nestaki. Hare Krishna. So Sutta Goswami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjuna's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. So he was very upset when he came back to Hastinapur, and he was explaining what had happened, and he was like in a type of depression. But then he remembered the instruction of the Lord, he remembered the Bhagavad-Gita, and then it sort of brought him back again to his original self. Since the Lord is absolute, deep meditation upon him is as good as yogic trance. The Lord is not different from his name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, and specific actions. So Arjuna became to think of the Lord's instructions to him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only those instructions began to eliminate the tinges of material contamination in the mind of Arjuna. The Lord is like the sun. The sun's appearance means immediate dissipation of darkness or ignorance, and the Lord's appearance within the mind of a devotee can at once drive away the miserable material effects. And this was the situation with Arjuna. And Lord Chaitanya has therefore recommended constant chanting of the name of the Lord for protection from all contamination of the material world. The feeling of separation from the Lord is undoubtedly painful to the devotee, but because it is in connection with the Lord, it has a specific transcendental effect which pacifies the heart. So this feeling of remorse and separation and depression in separation to the Lord is a good thing. Feelings of separation are also sources of transcendental bliss, and they are never comparable to contaminated material feelings of separation. So we can't compare them to our separation from our material things, our families, and or our assets. You lose your assets and become very remorseful. So it's not the same thing. It's this transcendental feeling. This revival of consciousness is assured by the Lord in the Bhagavad-Gita as follows. So what Arjuna thought of was the shloka 1865 in Bhagavad-Gita, Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyajin mam namaskru mam veshsi satyamte pratijane priyosime. So he remembered that one should think of the Lord always. The mind should not forget him. One should become a devotee of the Lord and offer obeisances unto him. So one who lives in that fashion becomes undoubtedly endowed with the blessing of the Lord by achieving the shelter of his lotus feet. So these are the instructions of Lord Krishna, that we should always have a mind concentrated on Him, focused on Him, and we should serve Him and offer our praise and obeisances to Him. So there is nothing to doubt about this eternal truth. Because Arjun was his confidential friend, the secret was disclosed to him, obviously for our benefit as well. Arjun had no desire to fight with his relatives, but he fought for the mission of the Lord. He was always engaged in the execution of his mission only, and therefore after the Lord's departure he remained in the same transcendental position, even though it appeared that he forgot all the instructions of the Bhagavad-Gita. One should therefore adjust the activities of life in pace with the mission of the Lord. And by doing this, one is sure to return back home, back to Godhead. This is the highest perfection of life. So this is what Srila Prabhupada recommends, that our life should be so molded that we are at the same time focusing on the Lord and His mission. So now Yudhishthira, upon hearing of Lord Krishna's returning to his abode and upon understanding the end of the Yadu dynasty's earthly manifestation, Maharaj Yudhishthira decided to go back home, back to Godhead. So he realized that now Krishna is gone, our mission here is also complete, because we were here with the Lord's pastimes, and now he has left. Then we are no longer required here. We need to go where the Lord is. The Lord appears on the earth or any other mortal planet along with his associates who live with him eternally. And the members of the Yadu family who were engaged in supplementing the pastimes of the Lord are no other than his eternal associates. And so also Maharaj Yudhishthira and his brothers and mother, etc. Since the appearance and disappearance of the Lord and his eternal associates are transcendental, one should not be bewildered by the external features of appearance and disappearance. So thereafter in the capital Hastinapur, he enthroned his grandson Maharaj Parikshit. Now Maharaj Parikshit becomes the king, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is no longer the king. And at Mathura, as the king was Shurasen, afterwards Maharaj Yudhishthira performed a Prajapati sacrifice and placed himself this was Anirudh. Then he posted Vajra, the son of Anirudh, grandson of Lord Krishna, at Mathura as the king of Shurasen. And afterwards Maharaj Yudhishthira performed a Prajapati sacrifice and placed himself the fire for quitting household life. So he did basically yajna and he took sannyas. And Kunti, after overhearing Arjun's telling of the end of the Yadu dynasty and disappearance of Lord Krishna, engaged in the devotional service of the transcendental personality of Godhead with full attention, and thus gained a release from the course of material existence. So Kunti also followed the Pandavas' approach and left her material life and completely engaged herself in the devotional service of the Lord. So Maharaj Yudhishthira at once relinquished all his garments, belt and ornaments of the royal order and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. Prabhupada says that to become purified of material contamination is a necessary qualification for becoming one of the associates of the Lord. No one can become an associate of the Lord or can go back home to Godhead without such purification. Maharaj Yudhishthira, therefore, to become spiritually pure, at once gave up his royal opulence, relinquishing his royal dress and garments. He became disinterested in his kingdom and family, and thus became free from all material contamination or material designations. People are generally attached to wealth, position, and many other things. And as long as one is attached to such designations, he is considered materially impure. And after that, Maharaj Yudhishthira dressed himself in torn clothing, gave up eating all solid foods, voluntarily became dumb, and let his hair hang loose. And what a sacrifice! If you've been king for so long and you live in a royal life, and then to give it all up voluntarily is very difficult. They had problems in the past where they had to go to the one, but that was That's something that they had to do. It was sort of forced upon them, but this is voluntary sacrifice. And then he started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers and great men, to devote himself completely to the thought of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he lived in that way wherever he went. The Lord instructs in the Bhagavad-Gita in 18.62 that one must become a devotee of the Lord at least at the last stage of one's life. A sincere soul of the Lord, like Maharaj Yudhishthira, must abide by these instructions of the Lord for his own interest. And then the brothers also follow him. They see what, they always stick together. And when seeing Yudhishthira Maharaj, behave like that, they accepted this situation, and they followed their brother. The younger brothers of Maharaj Yudhishthira observed that the age of Kali had already arrived throughout the world, and that the citizens of the kingdom were already affected by religious practice. Therefore, they decided to follow in the footsteps of their elder brother. They all had performed all the principles of religion, and as a result, rightly decided that the lotus feet of the Lord, Sri Krishna, are the supreme goal of all. Therefore, they meditated upon his feet without interruption. In the Bhagavad-Gita 7.28, the Lord says that only those who have done pious deeds in previous lives and have become freed from the results of impious acts can concentrate upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. And this is what we should also feel as well, that we have done some pious activities in our previous lives. This is why we are able to concentrate on Lord Krishna. This is why we have come into the Krishna conscious movement, because this is just a minority. So many people are not following this. It takes millions and millions of births to get to this stage. So we have done something right to be where we are right now. Because there are people on their deathbed who refuse to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. They're just not qualified to do it. The Krishna doesn't allow them. If they haven't practiced in their life, then Krishna doesn't allow them to do in the last minute either. So the Pandavas, not only in this life but also in the previous lives, had always performed the supreme pious work, and thus they are ever free from all the reactions of impious work. It is quite reasonable, therefore, that they concentrated their minds upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So according to Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha principles are accepted by persons who are not free from the results of impious actions. So the Vedas, they talk a lot about these four things, but these are not recommended for a devotee. These are recommended for the general population. And this is what we were talking about the last time or the time before, about Vyasadeva writing the Vedas, and he wasn't happy because he had just written for the general population, which is also necessary. But what about the devotees? What do have the devotees to do, or how do you become a devotee and serve Lord Krishna? So such persons affected with the contaminations of the above four principles cannot at once accept the lotus feet of the Lord in the spiritual sky. So there's that shloka, Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanvan Prapadayate Vasudeva Sarmiti Samhatma Sadurlabha. So it can take millions of births to accept that Lord Krishna is our Lord. The Vaikuntha world is situated far beyond the material sky. The material sky is under the management of Durga Devi, or the material energy of the Lord, but the Vaikuntha world is managed by the personal energy of the Lord. So thus by pure consciousness, due to constant devotion and remembrance, they attain the spiritual sky, which is ruled over by Supreme Narayan, Lord Krishna. So they all went back to Vaikuntha, and this is attained only by those who meditate upon the one Supreme Lord without deviation. This abode of Sri Lord Sri Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, cannot be attained by persons who are absorbed in the material conception of life. But the Pandavas, being completely washed off all material contamination, attained that abode in their very same bodies. Amazing. And then, what about Draupadi and Subhadra? Well, Draupadi also saw that her husbands, without caring for her, were leaving home. She knew well about Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Both she and Subhadra became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and attained the same results as their husbands. This is a fantastic thing, that the queens, they were also qualified and capable of doing the same as their husbands, and they achieved that. So Sri Prabhupada mentions that when flying an airplane, one cannot take care of the other planes. Everyone has to take care of his own plane. And if there is any danger, no other plane can help another in that condition. So the Pandavas didn't ask Draupadi and Subhadra Mata to come along. I mean, it was very difficult, and they were going to give up their bodies, so that they couldn't really ask them that you should come along and do the same thing. It was their choice or their option to take, and which they did take. So similarly, at the end of life, when one has to go back home, back to Godhead, everyone has to take care of him or herself without help rendered by another. The help is, however, offered on the ground before flying in space. So this is still the example of the plane, that you can help the pilot on the ground while he's still on the ground, but once he's flying in the air, nobody can help him. He has the controls. Similarly, the spiritual master, the father, the mother, the relatives, the husband, and others can all render help during one's lifetime. But while crossing the sea, one has to take care of himself and utilize the instructions formerly received. Draupadi had 5 husbands, and no one asked Draupadi to come. Draupadi had to take care of herself without waiting for her great husbands. And because she was already trained, she at once took the concentration upon the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The wives also got the same result as their husbands in the same manner. That is to say, without changing their bodies, they reached the destination of Godhead. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests that both Draupadi and Subhadra, although her name is not mentioned herein in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Subhadra Mata is not mentioned, but she got the same result, and none of them had to even quit their body. So this is the retirement of the Pandavas, Kunti Mata, and Draupadi and Subhadramai, and this is how they went back to Godhead. So thank you for joining. Prem Prakash Prabhu, Harini Mataji, Rukmani Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Madhav Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Partha Prabhu, Parveen Mataji, and Sarveshya Mataji. Thank you all this morning, and would love to hear from you. Any comments, any realizations you would like to add, please fire away. We'll start with Partha Prabhu. Partha Prabhuji, are you there?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, such a wonderful class again.
Yeah.
Yeah. In one of the class by Sri Vrindavan Das Prabhu, he mentioned that when Krishna left this world, when Arjuna came back and when he just started asking questions, so Arjuna was actually remembering every act, every time he spent with Krishna.
Yeah.
So though my understanding, Prabhu, though he met Krishna for the first time during the marriage with Subhadra, that was very first time. But when Krishna left, he thought that even that thing he can won in Swayamvar, it's only because of the presence of Krishna. That means his activities in his life is already planned by Krishna from the beginning. though he met at a very later stage, but he understood that whatever activities, right from childhood, whatever activities happened in life, it's all because of Krishna. Krishna only planned all his activities.
Okay.
So he started telling all his realizations when actually this asked him. That is very nice. And your point, Prabhu, like, I mean, it's our own choice. So we should not be waiting for someone to lift us up. The knowledge is given, so we should get that realization and develop our own choice to go back to Godhead. Yes, that's all.
Jai, thank you. I mean, what I'm saying that we're the ones who'd have to get up in the morning. We have to get up early in the morning at the instructions of spiritual master, and we're the ones who have to do our chant. Nobody can chant on our behalf. We have to do the chanting, and we have to do the service. So we have to fly our own plane. We can't delegate somebody else to do it for us. Like today, I don't feel, oh, I'm very busy today. Can somebody else do it? They can't do it. We want to go back, then we have to use our own body to do that. We have to purify our own body. Krishna won't accept us if we are unpurified, as mentioned here, that you have to be completely purified. No, there should be no material designations within us. We have to be completely purified to go back home. Uh, this is why the spiritual master is there. This is the class we had on Sunday. The spiritual master helps us to become purified, and he is his representative. But the spiritual master accepts us unpurified and he helps us to purify. But Krishna won't accept us unpurified. He will only accept us when we are purified. And for
Yeah,
that, we have to fly on plane.
yeah. As you earlier mentioned, one must become a devotee by at least at the last stage of the life, so that at least in the next life he'll start continuing with pious activities, and that is where he will finally reach the lotus feet of the Lord. So
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Parveen Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes.
I was leaving the
Yeah.
last one. I'll ask you earlier today.
Sorry.
I said I thought I would ask you a bit earlier today. Start
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, very nice. And same point came to me, like it's our own journey. So, like other people, they can help us on the material plane, but for spirituality, we have to, continue our own journey. And the verses we learned in Nectar of Devotion, Anyabhilashita Shunyam, and the other one, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam. So, these are very, very useful here to understand that these designations, they don't really help us in spiritual life. Sorry, in
Yeah,
spiritual life. So we have to be free from these. And what I understand is the devotional service, yeah, they say even if we think of Krishna at the last minute, but then there's no guarantee we can do that. So we have to constantly engage in our devotional service to be with him.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean,
Hare Krishna.
thank you. Hare Krishna. Last minute, because our senses, everything shuts down. Then it's up to the Lord whether He allows us to think about Him. Because then the sort of soul takes over. Our material body just shuts down at the time of death. So whether then it should be the consciousness, the soul should be thinking about Krishna, because the soul doesn't die. So the soul is thinking, and it's only up to Krishna whether he allows the soul to think about him at the last minute. So this is my understanding. Jai Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, nice to have you back.
Yeah, I think the key message coming out from this is that no one can go back to Godhead or even become associated with the Lord without purifying themselves from material contamination. I mean, to achieve pure consciousness, one has to constantly remember the Lord and also serve Him. I think Yudhishthira Maharaj, on learning that about the departure of Krishna and the end of the Yadu dynasty, and also he realized that Kali Yuga was about to come, and all sorts of things like greed for wealth, falsehood, cheating, and violence was going to occur in Kali Yuga. So some of the things, he gave up he gave up his material way of life by giving up his kingdom, giving up his family. So and I think some of the things he did was he dressed in torn clothing.
Yeah, basically he gave up the feel good factor of material contamination, isn't it? That's why
Yeah.
you would wear something that you're not you're not fond of, you're not proud of wearing.
He gave up.
You don't enjoy it, so he just like completely, he's not even looking after his hair or anything,
Right,
acting
yeah.
like a crazy man. So anything, his beauty, his opulence, his strength, everything, he's just like he just all surrendered to Lord Krishna. Because when they used to go to the north, they usually go to the north. It's like it's a one-way ticket. They didn't come back, and that's what he was aiming. That now, as it material life is over, just just wind down to go back home.
Yes, he gave up eating solids and all that as well. So the rest of the family followed suit, and they all achieved a spiritual sky. Yeah, so yeah, that's it.
I mean, at end of the day, the Pandavas, Kunti Mata, Draupadi, I mean, they're all his personal associates. They probably won't even have to do that because they are in the pastime together. They probably all now been transferred to another universe where the pastime continues once again. But I guess they do this to teach us that it is necessary. If they just left and think, well, we think, well, if they can do it, why can't we do it? But they have to set an example for us. Even Krishna sets an example in Bhagavad-Gita in many aspects to show us that what we need to do. When what is important and why it's important. To give us so many examples. Respecting parents, respecting family, and doing yajnas that were necessary at the time. Krishna didn't have to do anything like that, like yajnas, but he still did it just to show that it was necessary to worship. Yes, Prabhuji? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And Rukmini Mataji, would you like to add something?
Very nice class and very awakening for us.
Yeah.
So we have already started our journey for the kingdom of spiritual world.
Yeah.
And it's all credit goes to you. Otherwise, we wouldn't have get up early and listen the class. But we are also have been very active to listen the class, and by joining the class, we are studying that we have to also like Yudhishthir's and Pandavas started the journey together. But in this today's Kali Yuga, Krishna is not giving us the time at the end of our life, because nowadays we get so many heart attack. So you just go like a quickly up according to our karma, wherever Krishna takes us. So, but still we have started our journey for the spiritual world, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that is this. We are very lucky that we have got the good association, and all these youngsters are doing very well, doing Gita class, Bhagavatam class, and you have also started this. We are very, very lucky.
Yeah, and we have to thank these people who make this technology as well. I mean, otherwise, how else would we have this now? This Zoom it's a gift from Lord Krishna to us that we can all join together and discuss together. Otherwise, especially at this time, it'd be very difficult. We'll be missing out so much, wouldn't we? Because we can read on our own, but it's not enough. We need more. We need association. We need to discuss, and anything that we don't understand or we get other people's point of view, it really helpful, doesn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji, we are very lucky, yeah, because if we read ourselves, then we just get bored. and this is in a group, so we enjoy.
Yeah.
And there should be one leader, so we can ask, because everybody is not very learned and we don't get understand. So this is a very good idea, and especially for Corona, we are very, 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 very fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Prabhuji, all credits goes to you, all the ISKCON teachers.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're doing a wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your wonderful realization there. You're absolutely right. And this is what all means about helping each other on the ground. Because this is what we're doing by getting together, discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, and we're talking about the instructions of the Lord, the instructions of the spiritual master. We're helping each other on the ground, and then we can fly our own planes in our own time. But we are here to help each other. And at the last minute especially, nobody can help anybody. Only we can help ourselves, and then Lord Krishna's mercy, that we will achieve the ultimate destination. Okay, so Rishi Mataji. Hare Krishna. Prem Prakash Prabhu, are you there still?
Sorry, I didn't put.
You're
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
They can hear you, yes.
Pandavas were very surrendered soul, and they're always associating with Krishna. And surrender is whatever Krishna says, they do it. Like Arjuna, he didn't want to fight Kurukshetra, but after Krishna instructed him, he was ready to fight. So they were very surrendered soul. That's why they were so much disturbed, because they missed his association, and they thought without Krishna, the life is worthless. So what they gonna do? So actually, Arjuna, he went to Vyasadeva, and he said about this, that how disturbed he is, what shall they do? And Vyasadeva advised Arjuna that Krishna came for some purpose. He finished his mission, he's gone, and you came to help him to do his mission, and the mission is finished, you should leave the material world as well. So King Yudhishthira, he left for his kingdom, all the opulences, and he just went out of the kingdom, and he gave his kingdom to his grandson, Raja Parikshit. So that time, Pandavas and lot of people have association of Krishna. But in Kali Yuga, you can't get association of Krishna, but we can get association through the Bhagavatam. Because this is Bhagavatam is literally incarnation of Lord Krishna, and his name is not different from him. So Krishna is everywhere, but we cannot see with our material eyes. But with revelation, they call it, we can see through our mind, we can see Krishna everywhere. And so it's very important. So we can't associate it with Krishna, so we have to follow his instruction. And if you follow the instruction, that is the surrender, that we have, whatever Krishna says, we should do it. So it's very, very important in Kali Yuga, chant the Krishna's name and read Bhagavatam, so we can get connected with Krishna. We won't forget. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what everyone is feeling, but I feel that listening to Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavatam, it expands your consciousness. We tend to be stuck in our designations, and we see everything, whatever we are fond of, we tend to see everything through that filter. And after reading Srimad Bhagavatam or discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, you're getting different symptoms, you're getting different emotions in the body, in the heart, and you start seeing things differently. Instead of our own filter, we start seeing things a little bit more differently or from the other person's point of view, or other person's feelings are sort of vibrated across a lot more. This is I'm just feeling like that. Maybe it's just my own personal thing, or I feel it's the Srimad Bhagavatam helping, because our filters, and there's an example given, like if somebody is really fond of money, then everything he does, everything he sees, it will be related with money. He will see everything through the filter of money. So if there's like a pandemic on now, you see everything. Oh, there's a pandemic on. We can make a lot of money out of this. We can sell a lot of masks. We can sell a lot of sanitizer. That because that's the filter he's thinking through. He's just thinking about how can I make this? How can I make money out of this bad situation? Or if there's a good situation, they'll think, how can I make money out of this good situation? That's the filter. We're so narrowed in our thinking that we just think through that filter that we have, right? But I feel, and this is my personal feelings, that when we're discussing the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, and it does explain that it helps to expand your consciousness, and I think it does, because it takes away that filter, and you see things in a wider scope, and I hope helping everybody else like that as well. So thank you, Mataji. Okay, right. So next week we will go. Now the age of Kali is setting in. The Pandavas have gone. Maharaj Parikshit has become the king, and then he sees the principal signs of the age of Kali are becoming more prominent. Kali could not enter while Lord Krishna was there. He could not enter at all. So Lord Krishna left. This is all designed, all is all system arranged by Lord Krishna. Krishna leaves, and then Kali could not enter before that. So now Maharaj Parikshit has taken over. Kali has shown is already here. It's ready and waiting to show its what he can do, but is still afraid of Maharaj Parikshit because he's a very strong king as well, very pious king, very strong king. But it starts showing these symptoms, Kali, and then Maharaj Parikshit confronts Kali, and we'll discuss that next Friday. What happens there?
Prabhuji, I've just got one question.
Anyway,
Is there any condensed form of Bhagavatam? Because I really struggle to read Bhagavatam on my own, because it's very hard for me to understand. And then I read it and I don't grasp it really. And after reading for an hour, then I don't recall anything.
Sure.
So because there's so many cantos, and I haven't gone very far by reading. So I was thinking, because I did hear in one of the lectures, like Achyuta Mataji, she was saying she got it from the condensed Bhagavatam. So then I thought it might be easier for me to, read.
Okay, well, there's two options. First option is there's condensed. You try that first. Sutapa Prabhu. He has done a condensed form of Bhagavatam.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I missed the name. It wasn't clear, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Okay. So Sutapa Prabhu from the manor.
Yeah.
He has done a condensed form of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay.
And you can Google it. If you don't find it, then let me know. We'll send you a link.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's quite easy to find.
Right. Yeah. And are there any prayers I should do? Because I struggle to recall things. I read it, so I don't know. It's my brain gone rusty, or I really, because it's transcendental knowledge, so I struggle to recall things. When I'm reading it, like it will make sense, and then I can't recall things.
Yeah. See, everything else what we do after chanting is based on our chanting.
I think Swami, you can't understand. You need somebody to explain. That's why it's important to hear Bhagavatam in the association of people. So because there's so many characters, you won't know unless somebody will tell you who is who. then you will get something out of it. You can understand it because you don't know any characters. That's why you can't. So it's very important somebody like in the association of somebody you class or somebody knows about it. You ask somebody who is that character and then tell you because there's so many names. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. No, but thing is, because I listen to Vrindavan Prabhu's class, it's like a weekly class. And we are only on Canto 3 so far. And we started like 2 years ago. So I'm thinking it's going to take so long to finish. So
Just translations was this.
The thing is, we started from the beginning now.
yeah,
We talked about how Srimad Bhagavatam came about. We discussed the disappearance of Lord Krishna, and we discussed the disappearance of the Pandavas. We will continue.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
stay with it. And
yeah,
like Mataji just said, that we will definitely learn more in association and discussion because I
yeah,
tell you, everybody falls asleep. Well, I know about them. You can fall asleep after it because it's very, very long. It can be very tedious as well at times. Describing the personalities, so many personalities, and trying to get to the right point. And if you are a little bit sleepy when you fall asleep, it is very difficult to read. So it's best to
yeah,
go to
yeah.
chunks like we are doing.
It is hard to hear. I don't know. I'm thinking, is it just my karma that I'm not even able to listen to the
Yeah,
advice I'm getting because the line is not very clear now.
I
So
know.
it's just like,
Is it better now?
I have unmuted.
yeah, now it is okay. Yeah. So if you can just like briefly say what Mataji said and yourself, Prabhuji. Yeah, okay, we should read it in association and like, this is really what I enjoy. So because you read it and then you hear everybody's experiences, realizations.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
was saying that you might have missed that. I was saying that somebody else has got this.
Two devices are on.
Is there another device on? Okay. Can you hear me on the? Well, okay, you're on mute now. Anyway, I was saying that we have started from Canto 1 and we will work our way up. So you have to keep up with exactly what Bhakta, because there's 10,000 shlokas and there's 12 volumes, 12 cantos. It's very difficult to absorb everything. So we're just going through it and discussing it bit by bit. And I think if we can absorb this much, I think will be a great thing. So let's just concentrate on these chunks. Let's do it in little chunks and canto by canto, and I think we will gain a lot from it. I mean, end of the day, it's not a case of remembering the full version of Srimad Bhagavatam. Is the case of getting the essence of what we want to achieve. Srimad Bhagavatam, end of the day, it shows us how to get back home, how to get to Lord Krishna, and also helps on the consciousness.
Yeah, that's very good point because that's what I said to my husband at one point. I said, I just can't understand. All I know is I just want to chant and Krishna is supreme. So yeah, I think that's good enough for me. So yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
chant. Rukmani Mataji, we'd like to make a start. And next Sunday program, His Holiness Dayanand Swami is coming, and we're talking about the integrity of Lord Shri Ram. So please join us on Sunday Sangha as well. Thank you, Rukmani Mataji.
Who is coming, Prabhuji?
Dayanand Swami, His Holiness Dayanand
then.
Swami.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna.